So every week on the show, we have a lot of great people sending us community mail time and video contributor stories.
And we usually cover those later in the show, but this week, Philip sent us some photos that I think are really interesting. He said, just spotted what I believe to be a cybercab test vehicle and thought you might have a look.
So what are we looking at here?
So this appears to be a Model 3 refresh with Texas manufacturer plates and the words engineering vehicle printed on it, with some heavy modification to the camera system.
Whoa. Okay, so they added a front nose camera, and it looks like they changed out the side repeaters and changed the B-pillar cameras into rear window cameras, and then they changed out the rear camera?
So all of this appears to be very prototypey. I don't think that this is going to be the next Model 3, but could it be preparation for the RoboTaxi?
All right, well, let's talk about what this is.
Now, the fact that it's got manufacturer plates really points to this being Tesla made.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem to be some kind of science fair project.
Next, the lenses of these cameras look similar enough to the current Hardware 4 cameras with that red glint in there, but I will not pretend to know if these are the same cameras or not.
Right. I mean, the Highland already has Hardware 4, so are they just reorienting the cameras?
Well, the nose camera is definitely different, and the rear window cameras are pretty strange.
Wait, could the rear window cameras be placed for like a different car, like specifically for the Model 2 or the RoboTaxi?
You mean they're being placed inboard on the Model 3 because the Model 2 or the RoboTaxi will be smaller?
Right, to kind of replicate what those look like, right? I mean, otherwise, why are they being placed there?
Well, the only problem with that is that the placement of the rear camera and the windshield camera. Now, I can't see the front windshield camera, but I'm assuming it's in the same place. Now, the geometry theory wouldn't really work if the car were shorter than a Model 3. Basically, if you were bringing in the side cameras, you'd have to bring in all the cameras to make it a smaller vehicle, and then how does the wheelbase work?
I mean, unless it's the same size. So then what would they be testing? Because there's no way they're going to stick a camera in the window.
Right. My guess is that these must be different cameras. I mean, maybe for Hardware 5, which Elon is calling AI 5.
But he said that was in 18 months.
Well, I mean, even if they don't have the AI 5 computer built yet, they still need to test the cameras, and I'm assuming they might want to use better ones, maybe not necessarily high resolution, but, you know, some difference that's very nerdy.
I mean, wouldn't they just stick with what works? I mean, it seems like once you've got a decent enough camera, you don't want to just keep adding more pixels.
Well, they haven't stuck to that logic in the past. I think that they will continue to keep making better and better versions. I mean, this really seems like a camera test vehicle to me, because why would they be testing out Hardware 4 cameras if you already had them installed in the car anyway?
Right. So wouldn't this mean that Hardware 3 and 4 wouldn't be able to do full self-driving? I mean, Elon has just reassured everyone that they would, but if your theory is correct and this is Hardware 5, then does that mean that all Hardware 3 and 4 vehicles won't be able to do full self-driving?
I'm not saying that just because they're perhaps testing out cameras for Hardware 5, that versions 3 and 4 wouldn't be able to do full self-driving. I mean, for example, Red Dead Redemption 2 could be played on the PlayStation 4.
Okay.
It's the same game, it just has worse graphics than the PlayStation 5.
Okay. I mean, so according to Elon, full self-driving will work on Hardware 3 and 4.
Right, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Hardware 5, AI 5, is going to be able to drive better than Hardware 3 and 4.
No, that makes sense.
It's just a weird thing to think about at the moment, since none of these hardware versions can fully self-drive yet with like level 5 autonomy. But obviously, we'll hear more about this on October 10th. Just what an interesting looking vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in Texas and you happen to spot this driving along and you have some theories and maybe closer up photos or something, let us know so we can all figure this out together. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching Now You Know Clips.
You can watch full episodes of Tesla Time News on Tuesdays and in-depths on Fridays. Just click the link down below and head over to the Now You Know channel.